Hey everyone, and thanks for joining. In this video, I will show you how you can connect GoRouter to your tabbed pages so that you can navigate into tabs using GoRouter. If you like to follow along, you can get the source code of this project from my GitHub. You can also experiment with it later. So let's hop right in. So let me first tell you the advantages of hooking up your tabbed pages with GoRouter. If you do this, you get a better navigation experience, as you will be able to navigate right into a tab of your that you want with your router from anywhere inside your app. Also, if you already have set up deep linking, it allows you to deep link also right into those tabs. And as a bonus, if you like to track the current page the user is on, it also makes analytics tracking way easier. So let me show you. So this is the project that we will be working on. This is a very simple news app. It has two tabs, one for the latest news and one for the trending news. You can switch between them by tapping on that bar, and you can swipe. As you notice in the address bar, everything is on the same location, and that's what we're going to change. So let's take a look at the code. If we take a look at the main, it's really simple. We create a news app router, and I've added a listener. The listener is just here to print the current location. And since we only have one, it will only print this root destination. Then the main runs the news app, which we'll look at now, which is also really simple, just a material app, and it's passed in the router. Easy. Now let's take a look at the router itself. If you've seen the previous video, you will recognize this setup where I like to extend GoRouter so I can easily add some convenient methods in here for navigation, which we will do in a second. What I already did is set up the static off method, which allows us to grab our news app router from context. And I also added the extension to make that even easier. At the bottom, you will see the route configuration, and we currently have only a single route going right into the tabbed news page. So let's explore this tabbed news page. Yet again, very simple and probably very familiar. I've used the default tab controller, and in the bottom part of the app bar, I added a tab bar with the tabs for latest and trending, and I added in the body the tab bar view. So both tab bar view and the tab bar will grab the controller from the default tab controller widget. So that's it. That's how the page is currently set up. But we want more control. We want that the latest and the trending tabs are actually part of our navigation. So how can we do that? Well, the first thing that we have to do is make it possible for the router to pass in the tab that we want to show. So for that, we're gonna simply add a tab index. It does not have a default value, and we have to pass it. So easy. We can already tell the default tab controller that the initial index is this value. Now in the router itself, we have to pass this. So the tab index can be either 0 or 1 because we have two tabs. If we put in 1 and we restart, it will be on the first tab. And if you put in 1, it will be on trending tab. So we need to make this dynamic. And there are two ways of doing this, or two easy ways to doing this. And one is using query parameters, and one is path parameters. For things like this, I really prefer path parameters because they just look a lot cleaner than using query parameters. So in this case, we're going to add that. And we can do that by simply adding this as a sort of placeholder, which can be dynamically filled when GoRouter matches this path. But as you can see, GoRouter does not like this. That's because if we have only a path with a path parameter, then the GoRouter does not know what to do when there is no value. So we have to tell it. And we can do simply that by creating one for the empty route. And that should be a redirect. And we can tell it, now we want you to go to latest, because that will be our first initial tab. And that's great. Now we need it also to get the dynamic value from this path. So the tab is state and dot path parameters tab. If it is trending, then it will be the first tab, and else we default to 0. And now, of course, we have to pass this dynamic value that we added. So we can restart, take a look at a project, and you will see that it starts with latest, but we're now also able to deep click into trending, and you will see that it starts the app with trending. You can also go back to latest, and you'll see that it ends up here. Oh, great. That's the first part. We're already able to deep link into this. So we've decided on latest and trending as paths. So I will be adding those here as my very nice, convenient methods, which we can use later. Now our router is already done. The next step is to go to the news page, because yes, of course, we can now deep link into this, but if we switch, you see that the address bar does not update. So they're kind of getting out of sync. So that's what we're going to deal with next. Now, the default tab controller does not allow us to have enough control over this, so we're going to remove it. Instead, we want to use our own controller. And in order to have our widget hold this controller, we have to create a state. So we've turned it into a stateful widget. And now we can add our own controller. So we're going to get a final controller, and it's a tab controller with a length of 2 for our 2 tabs. The vsync is not a scrollable state, but it's going to be this. And the initial index will come from the widget.tab index. Now this will complain because you cannot access this and widget from a final field, but if we turn it into late, then it's allowed. Now the vsync needs to be a ticker provider. So we can turn this state into a ticker provider by adding the mixin ticker provider. And that's all set. So now we have our own controller. Obviously, we have to pass it into the tab. So we're gonna add one to the tab bar itself and to the tab bar view, so they share the same controller. And what we've done now is, well, actually nothing, because it will be exactly the same behavior as we had before. It will still not sync up. But as we now have control over our own controller, we are able to add listeners very easily. So we're going to add this controller. While it's changing, we don't care. We just simply return it. But when it has changed, then we're interested in something that happens. So we wanted to navigate. And here is where our convenient methods come into play. So we're going to the latest. And for this one, we go to trending. Nice. So we've now updated this, and we're now telling it to update. And you will notice that the address bar gets updated. Very nice. Now, this together with the deep linking almost looks like that we're done, but we're not really, because I will show you what happens if we navigate inside the app. So let's really easily add a column here so that we can add another button to this page. So we've now added a simple button on this page. And if I now press this button, I would expect we go to trending. That is not happening. You can see that the address bar is updated, but the page did not do anything. And the reason of this is that we turned this widget into a stateful widget. And because the state is a stateful widget, it does not update the controller because its controller is only created once. So it never knows that there is a new value available. But we can easily resolve this by overriding the did update widget, in which we can check for the old widget, and we're not going to just use the index, we're going to animate to the new value. So now whenever GoRouter passes a new widget to the tab index, did update widget will get called. We compare it if it's the current, so if it's not, it has changed, and we tell the controller animate to that the new value, so that you're in line with what the address bar will show. So if you look now, we go to trending, you'll see that it moves, right? And if we go back, it will update. If we go sideways, it will keep updating, tapping. And the deep link also still works. And that's it. That's how you can hook up tabbed pages with your GoRouter, allowing you to deep link right into them. And of course, like I mentioned, the bonus is that you get all these updates in here. So if I switch between pages, I will move this to a side. Every time we move, we can send an event to our analytics provider, which is also pretty handy. So if you like this, leave a like, subscribe, and if you have ideas for me to cover for maybe in next videos, please leave it in a comment. But this was it for now, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.